In bigger application, it is recommended to centralize all the values for colors, fonts, and other things that might change in the application. And what I mean by that is to simply create in our source a folder called theme. And here let's add a new file called colors.ts. Let's define our colors. And here inside our colors, let's define a couple of colors that we know that we're gonna use throughout the whole application. For example, I'm pretty sure that we're gonna need a white color. So let's define it as FFF. Let's also define a black color. 000 and a gray one. And also let's do a light gray that we are gonna use for, I don't know, borders, backgrounds, and so on. And also we can declare here some very specific colors for our application, like the primary and the secondary color. In the case of Instagram, the primary color, if I'm not mistaken, is that bluish color that I found here with a color palette. So the primary, let's define it as 405DE6. This is a blue, and we can do something. And for now, this is enough. If we will need more colors, we will definitely need more colors. We're gonna come back and add them here. How we can use this color? Yeah, before that, we also need to export default colors. And now let's see how we will use these colors. In the app.tsx, let's import these colors. Import colors from source theme colors. And here for the text, we can say that the text color is colors.primary. Save. Oh, style, sorry for that. Style equal colors primary. And now our hello world should be displayed with a blue color. Yes, we see it displayed with a blue color. But the good thing about this is supposedly we will use this colors.primary in a lot of places in our application, and our application will grow bigger and bigger and bigger. Now the designers come back to the developers and say, look, we decided to change the primary color to a lighter shade of blue. Can you do that? Like, imagining how many places you would have to change if you used here directly the color. However, with having the standardized and centralized colors in a separate file, the only thing that we will have to do in order to change the primary color is to come here and say, okay, it's not this one, it's gonna be FD-F1D1, for example. We change the primary color to a red, and then in all of the places where we used colors.primary, we automatically update the colors so we don't have to do them manually always. Another benefit of this is to keep everything consistent, because if in the designs we want to display the primary color as blue, it should be this specific blue and not, for example, here someone decides to do a lighter blue, I don't know, like this. And in that case, your application starts to look messy because in different places you use different shades of the same color, and that's not very professional. We want to keep consistent everything, so this is the benefit of having them in a separate file. We can do the same, we can take the same principle and apply it to the fonts, for example. So let's declare fonts.ts, and in the fonts we can define the size of the fonts that we want to use. And here there are different ways to define the sizes. And yeah, one way would be to define, I don't know, size 14, and this is gonna be 14, the font size 14. Size 16, we can define 16. Let's also not forget to export our size. Yeah, this is one way to define the sizes of a font, but in this situation there is one small problem, because if designers come back and say we want to increase the font size, so everywhere where it's 16 now it should be 17, then you will also have to change the variable name to size 17 and also go back and change where it is used to reference the new variable. So basically we're back in square one with the same problem. So for that reason, I would recommend you to use some different names for your font sizes. You can use, for example, for the 16, we can say that this is a medium size, MD. The 14 is our default, so I will leave it as default, but we can add a small font size of 12 and even, not small, but SM, and even an extra small. That is going to be 10. Now going in another direction, after medium we can define a large font, which is going to be 20, an extra large font, extra large, which can be 24, and so on. Extra large can be 30. Yeah, and later on, as our application grows, we can add even more, but it's a good practice to keep the list options for the font sizes relatively small. Besides the size, we can also define the weight. So here we can have full, which is going to have a value of 900. We can have bold, which is going to have value of bold. What else? We can have normal as the normal, and low or thin, let's better define it as thin, of 400. There is also the semi-bold that has a value of 600. We could add that as well. Now let's add the weight together with the size in the export, in the exported object. And also we can export by default this object. So now going back in the app.tsx, we can import the font from the fonts. And here when rendering the text, we can, instead of writing here font size 24, for example, let's save. And then having to check, maybe 25 looks better, and then going back and forth through very close font sizes, we can use font dot size dot large, for example. And in this case, it's going to have only one option and it's going to display it like this. Or we can do, okay, let's check extra large. Okay, now it's better. So you see that when we have less options to choose from, it's better, and the application is going to be more consistent. Now the only thing is, whenever we are trying to use colors and fonts, don't try to use hard-coded values. Try to always import them from these files that we define right now. And if for some specific use cases you need to change something, you are free to go back to the fonts file and add different sizes, for example, or to the colors and add a new color there if you need that. All right, see you in the next class.